It is time to get raw. It is time to get down. It is time for the RAWDOWN, the number one source for all things WWE, right here at the Turnbuckle Tavern. I am your host, Young Anthony of the Independent Epicenter, joined with me, as always, by the only man in professional wrestling podcasting who does not need a video package to explain who they are. It's J-Bone of the Coming Down the Aisle podcast. J-Bone, how the hell are you doing?
Yeah, my name is this week is actually Juice Bone Robinson.
Juice Bone Robinson, yes, of course.
I mean, God, Juice Robinson, he's tearing down arenas nationwide, worldwide, should I say? Tokyo Dome, Madison Square Garden, goddamn, fucking whatever's in England, Wembley Stadium.
Stadium.
That Juice Robinson, he's so hot right now.
Yeah, maybe he'll be a part of this new NXT World Cup, which we'll get to in just a bit. But look, folks, we could talk all day about Juice Robinson and, video packages, but we have a stacked episode of the RAWDOWN to get to. Marco will be joining us in a little bit. He had to tend to some matters, and he will be here soon. Of course, our champion is late. What else is new here on the RAWDOWN? A late champion. But we have a lot to get to. It's going to be a little bit of a different show. We're going to try to change it up a little bit and do a little more free-flowing for you guys. And we have a few set topics that we want to discuss, and, we're going to see where the wind takes us. But with that being said, we're going to kick things off here with a segment that we wanted to really break down because it was probably the best thing on SmackDown last week, if we're going to be honest with ourselves, and that is the opening segment. Sami Zayn, getting the seal of approval from Roman Reigns. Of course, Roman, he looks at Sami and he's like, I'm going to need you to take that shirt off.
That's my shirt.
That shirt you're wearing, that's my shirt. So, of course, he had to take the shirt off, and Jey Uso actually ripped the shirt off.
Yeah. He was like, I'll quickly oblige my tribal chief.
Yes, very, very true. And what does Roman do? Not give him a spear or a Superman punch. He gives him another shirt. And what does that shirt say? The Honorary Oos.
That's my Honorary Oos.
That's my Honorary Oos. Sami Zayn is officially the Honorary Oos of the Bloodline. The acting in the segment was superb. I thought it was really, really good.
It was so good.
And it begs the question, and something that I wanted to bring up as our first question here, is this the best version of Sami Zayn that we have seen in the WWE? Like, we have seen him as the, what was he called? The master manipulator or the master, whatever he was around that 2020 period.
Yeah, it's conspiracy theorist.
Yeah, he was the conspiracy theorist. He, of course, was a really great babyface when he first came onto the main roster. But this kind of, begs the question, like, is this the best version of Sami that we've seen so far? So, talk us through this one. What are you thinking?
I mean, I don't think it's necessarily. I think I've got some echo issues, so sorry about that. But I don't think it's necessarily, a character change we've seen really for the most part. Yeah, he's gonna have a little bit more babyface tendencies or whatever, but this is just Sami sprinkled with Roman dust right now.
Yeah.
So that's why it's so good. I mean, he's elevated to the main event scene right now. Mm-hmm. So I think he's going to be a lot better for him. Sorry, I was trying to fix this audio. It's driving me nuts. Mm-hmm. But I think it's going to be a lot better for him whenever he can, if he can maybe one day challenge for a title. I don't think it's happening anytime soon. But this is good. I mean, arguably, if you go back to way back in the NXT days, whenever Sami was there, his matches with Cesaro and Kevin Owens and stuff like that. That was a good Sami.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember watching Sami Zayn versus Cesaro like with my jaw dropped. Like, God, this is an amazing match.
Yep.
You could argue that that's really good. I mean, the reason why this is kind of serves a couple of good factors for Sami. Yeah, elevates him to the main roster, but he also doesn't have to use his body as much, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't have to put on those crazy matches where he's diving through ropes and things like that. Um, I think this is basically it's basically what we see probably backstage just turned up to 10. I'm sure he's probably friends with Roman,
Hmm.
and I think overall this version of Sammy will it could be probably be the best version. So
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you. I don't think this is necessarily a change in character of Sammy, but I do think that it's definitely a different twist on what we have seen from this version of Sami Zayn, which just goes to show you like how he's able to keep the character fresh and everything.
mm-hmm.
Um, we have seen. I think I still think Sammy's best work was during the pandemic when he was doing all the when he was in that ladder match with Styles and Hardy, and he was handcuffing Jeff Hardy. He did it by his
Mm.
earlobe, and all that
Right.
stuff. I still think that was his best work, like around that time period, because he really got a lot of freedom to do all that type of stuff. And what we're seeing now is basically the same thing, but a different twist, because now he's involved in the main story. Like, before he was doing the Intercontinental stuff, he was involved with Kevin Owens, but now like this is Sami Zayn like in the spotlight.
Mm-hmm.
And it's I didn't think it would work at first. I thought it would be like, all
Yeah.
right, it's kind of just another little Sami Zayn thing. I didn't really think anything of it. But the more that they've been able to make it their own and kind of build it into what it is now, I'm fully on board with it. It really adds a new layer to the bloodline as well. We've been talking about how Solo coming in and being that new member is a way to freshen up the group. If anything, Sammy is an even bigger way to do that.
Right.
Like having that type of storyline within the bloodline is something that we haven't seen since really when it first started with Jay and Jimmy kind of butting heads, and Roman, like Jimmy not trusting Jay, everything that happened when they were originally like the three
Mm-hmm.
of them. But now you add in Sammy, and of course you add in Solo, and stuff like this kind of freshens it up to the point where you're able to keep a group like the Bloodline going a little bit longer. Like I was talking about how Drew McIntyre should have beaten Roman at Clash of the Castle, because I thought there wasn't much more that you could do with a group like the Bloodline. But when you're able to keep it fresh, like they have with implementing the other members and having stories within the group, it goes to show you, like they are definitely a group that you can rely your company on, which I'm all for. It makes you think, like, where at this point do you rank the Bloodline as far as top
Mm.
factions in WWE history?
Mm. Well, so for me, for a faction, I have a couple of rules on it.
Okay.
Or actually, really just one rule. It's got to be, and I know there's a lot of these guys these in there. It's got to have more than 3 members for me,
Right.
because and then it's just the trios. To be honest with you,
Hmm.
a faction's got to, because you look at Four Horsemen, look at NWO, look at DX, so forth, so on, right?
Hmm.
So this is now is a legit faction. Um, all time, it's kind of hard to say, and because of that, like I said, because you're adding just adding Sammy and Solo, to me they're kind of a young faction.
Yeah.
So, with based off of my rules, so I wouldn't put them in the top 10 just yet.
Hmm.
Depending on where this goes. Even if, let's say, they turn on Sammy next week, which I don't expect to happen.
Yeah. No.
You still got Solo in there, so um, I wouldn't put them in the top 10 just quite yet. Yeah, they have all the accolades. You have Usos, multi-time tag team champions. Roman, who is up to 760 days or something like that, as WWE champion, multi-time WWE champion, Intercontinental champion, blah 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 blah. But I wouldn't put them quite at the the top yet. I mean, you got some. It depends on you're talking about. You're talking about like you're including like WCW, because WCW had a lot of factions. If you're including them in WWE history, because WWE owns a lot of that IP now. I mean, my favorite faction of all time is the NWO. And then you got the Horsemen. I think we did a factions thing. Just break it off the top of my head. You got DX, Horsemen, NWO, Heart Foundation. No, actually, Heart Foundation is also a good favorite of mine. Los Pericos, man, those Los Pericos back in the day. Mwah! Especially Miguel with the great sweater underneath his tank top.
Wait, so just to clarify, so like you're talking stables have to be more than 3 members. So you don't consider like the Shield, the New Day, are they like in their own category?
Kind of, yeah, because or like a Freebirds, because I don't ever consider them as a faction.
Okay.
I don't, they're more like a unit, I guess,
All right, I get that.
Classify that. I saw like the Wyatt family, the original Wyatt family, the original 3.
Mm-hmm.
Once Braun's joined in, I would consider them a faction.
Yeah, they're a fact. Okay, I understand. Like, I guess they're a trio at when there's only 3 of them. So, all right, a better question would be like, where would you rank them as far as the top trios of all time?
Well, top trios. I think Shield is still arguably the best of all time. Then Wyatt family.
Would you put the Wyatt family over the Bloodline though?
I think so. Yeah.
You think?
Yeah, just based off storytelling and the way they work together as a team.
I mean, like biasly, I would put the Wyatt family up there just because, like, I've talked to nauseum about how much I just love that time period, and we'll talk about Bray Wyatt in a little bit. But I mean, the success of the Bloodline, I would say, outweighs a lot of what the other factions have done, or excuse me, all the other trios have done. So I would say it's a pretty close race, but I personally would put the Bloodline at number 2 under the Shield.
And I can see your point, but just for me, they just haven't had a whole lot of like unit matches. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get that.
I'm trying to think of other 3-person teams.
Well, try thinking of them because.
Wait. Hold on. I got one. Of course, it's one of my favorite tag teams of all time. Demolition, baby.
Oh my God! Here we go. From what I have seen of Demolition, from before our time,
you do it? Don't do it.
No. Actually, early Demolition was great when it was Axe and Smash. I loved it.
Yeah.
When Crush came in, God, my Jesus Christ!
Well, he was greener than goose shit. And,
you're telling me?
Yeah. So I would put Demolition, the faction of the trios of Demolition. Them. I'm just joking, but I love me some Demolition though.
I know you love some Demolition. I love me some comments. Let's get to some comments here. Tribe Nation is in the chat. I love how Roman has screwed with Jay's head in the start, and now Jay feels jealous, and he doesn't want to trust Sami, and he feels like he can get in the way. I do like that kind of.
It's great storytelling.
Like how Jay is kind of pulling his weight now in the group.
Mm-hmm.
How Roman was kind of manipulating Jay. Jay is kind of doing the same to Sami. I think you can't go wrong with storytelling in the Bloodline. If anything, I might put them as some of the best storytellers that we've seen in recent history. Like everything that they do, both internally in their group and when you add in other wrestlers into the mix of things, like they're top notch. And speaking of top notch, our champion is actually finally here. So let's welcome him in. He's late to the party. There he is. It's the MVP, Marco.
Good Lord, you got lost, kid? Goddamn,
where were you?
A little bit. I mean, had to take care of some personal demons.
Some personal business, baby. I had to put the youngins to bed.
No, it was a little bit more personal than that. If you see
Oh,
You seen the text I sent.
Goddamn, pal.
Goddamn, Well, Marco, we were talking just now about the honorary Oos, Sami Zayn. I mean, what were your thoughts on the whole? Well, what have you thought of Sami Zayn so far? The kind of question that we presented is this the best version of Sami that we've seen so far in his run in WWE? What would you say?
I think so. Even judging from like when he came back from his injury, and he started that whole like he came back with his kind of like militant look with the with the hat and the pants and the jacket and all that stuff. And he had that whole conspiracy thing going with the IC title. He actually made the IC title like interesting at that point. And just watching him now, you kind of forget he was serious Sami Zayn at one point. Like he's kind of like he wasn't really like a goofy, funny character or anything like that. He really started, when him and KO started getting together, and that's when you started seeing actually both of their sides, both of their funny sides, with their heels against Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
You got to see they had the whole yep movement. They had the yep shirts.
Yep.
So you got to see that you got to see that funny side, and then obviously with the conspiracy theory stuff was really good. And then obviously him bringing in Logan Paul too the very first time. Just the Slammy Awards when he he came out in his tuxedo, no one else was dressed up. He was like the only one. Just stuff like that. Like I mean, this is probably the best version of him when he gets to be that like zany, funny character. Because yeah. But even when the New Day had their podcast, he was a guest on there, and they called him the Larry David of the locker room. Like he was like the WWE version of Larry David. If you're familiar with Curb Your Enthusiasm, I mean, if you watch him, you kind of get it a little bit, like the things he gets himself into, and he tries to get out of the situations and stuff like that. So I love it. I'm a huge fan of everything that's going on right now. He's amazing. I mean, I'll be sad. Like I was sad when I thought it was going to end this past Friday. Like I thought it was it for him.
Well, that's why it was so good, because they got you with all the emotion
heart,
and everything.
The heartstrings they're tugging. And then that whole crowd was like, they were in it. They were just like, no. But when it does actually happen, that's going to be one of the saddest moments in WWE history when it actually takes place.
Sammy's over with that crowd. Did you hear them chanting Sammy? Sammy?
Yeah.
Like that's the first reaction he's had like that in a good long while. So
my question is, did they know that Roman was going to do that? Like it didn't seem like Jay knew. It seemed like was it Jay or
I don't
Jimmy?
know. It was Jay.
Probably knew.
Yeah, I think it was just good acting, honestly.
No, I mean, for storyline purposes, for kayfabe purposes, like was the storyline like Roman did that because he's the head of the table, so he can do whatever he wants. Doesn't matter what the Usos care. Like he's gonna keep him in the bloodline if he wants to.
Basically work the Usos.
Yeah, pretty much. And I'm not even sure if Paul Heyman knew. Like even just like in storyline wise, it seemed like Roman kind of did that on his own, like to make it official, and the other one didn't really follow suit with it.
I don't think so. I think they knew.
They knew.
Well,
I think it was just good acting.
What about Jay though? He was kind of pissed off, man.
Yeah, but that's the angle he's been going with.
No, I know. Yeah.
Well, also, Jay's a great actor. Starting with the Roman kind of storyline.
Yeah.
He showed a lot of really great acting. And just to, since we're on the topic of Jay, I still can't get over the fact that the last appearance that we had seen of Jay before he got involved with Roman was that him being the host of that karaoke segment when they were all singing the WWE Legends themes.
Yeah.
And then the following
you don't remember that?
Yeah. You don't remember that?
Yeah, that was a pandemic. That was when the Thunderdome.
Yeah.
Era.
It's just so amazing to see
I don't remember that at all.
Yeah,
they
it was
go from a karaoke segment to him, being probably the most compelling part of the pandemic. Like him and Roman, their story was insane. Like I still think that was the best era of Roman that we had seen still to this day. Him,
Yeah.
Started the start of the pandemic when Paul Heyman comes in to WrestleMania 37 was the best storytelling that we got with Roman, hands down.
I think when Jimmy came back, I think that kind of amped it up even more. When he came out and like pleaded for his brother, like, don't hurt my, like, what are you doing? That type of stuff. Cause
here's
man.
the segment.
God.
Oh, you found it.
Oh, I remember this.
Unfortunately, I found it. The file name for this picture, by the way, is Disaster. I did not put that. It's just whoever makes this picture up.
You got to think about it, man.
Disaster.
They were. I mean, to come from like the dog food matches with Roman Reigns, and then this horrible thing, like that's a huge 360.
Yeah,
not even a 180. That's
even Sami.
Yeah, he's floundering around too. I mean, I'm not sure who the mastermind behind this whole thing. I'm gonna probably give the nod to Paul Heyman. He's probably the one that kind of like the architect behind.
Excuse me, Mr. Levesque. If I, sir, could have just a word with you, Mr. Helmsley. I have a great idea that would involve Sami Zayn. It kind of sounds like Gilbert Gottfried.
Yeah. But yeah, that iconic picture with Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman sitting next to each other is going to be etched forever in everyone's minds. Like that's
like the Twitter account of like pictures that precede legendary events.
Exactly.
Believe that, says Paul Heyman.
So good.
That was good.
It's almost as good as our.
Just a quick little plug. Where we're actually watching whenever Roman won the Universal title this week. That's the match we're watching.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. That was a wild match. I remember that. It was like Braun and Bray, and then Roman just randomly comes into the match.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I didn't even remember that until I watched it again. I'm like, oh, that's right. He just like,
acknowledge me.
Basically.
I'll come into the match whenever I want.
No, remember that was a premise of what match was that? What the hell? What match was that where he just walked? It was a triple threat match. He already had the title, and there was two people fighting in the ring already, and he came in at the last like second and won the match. What the hell? What match was that?
No, wasn't that the match that he won the title with Bray and Braun at Payback?
No, but that was a surprise for him coming back. We didn't know he was coming back.
No, that was SummerSlam. That was the surprise.
Yeah, but what match was it when he walked down? Just like after the fact.
That was SummerSlam that was his return at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Was after the match he just made his random return, and then at Payback they started the match with Braun and
That's
Bray.
what it was. Okay, yeah. Payback.
And then Roman comes out and signs the contract on the stage.
Yep, that was
because he didn't want to wrestle a triple threat. He was
right.
He's like, I'll think about signing. And Adam Pearce was pleading him because kind of at the time, they needed Roman Reigns.
Yep.
For ratings. So he's like, please just sign it, do. And then he just at the end of the match just signed it, and
that's right. He signed it on the
picked up the scraps. Yeah,
that's right.
So
I'm gonna smash him. I'm gonna stack him. I'm gonna pin him.
Show up and win.
Show up and win.
He's had so many shirts now. It's ridiculous.
What did I do?
God mode.
I said it. I showed up and I won.
I have that figure somewhere. Oh, here it is. Oh no, this is the wreck everyone and leave.
Yeah, that's the that's when he returned.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah.
When he had the bright white chiclet teeth.
That's actually when the match when he won the Universal title.
Yeah, that's what we called the Chick-fil-A show. We called him Wreck It Roman. Because he looked like I'm a wreck him.
I'm gonna wreck it.
That's my Ralph.
That's my Ralph.
Well, that ain't a knee slapper, buddy.
Oh man.
I miss Brock.
Yeah.
No beard anymore. Did you see him recently?
I did see it. Did you see that new picture?
Gone. Yeah. Shaved it all off. He looks.
But he still has the ponytail, which is weird.
Yeah.
It's like a mix of when he returned to like now. It's so strange.
What a
Um,
bitch! Grow your beard back.
Grow your beard. We have a pro wrestling podcast in the chat. He says Roman's matches are still hella boring to him.
Well,
Yeah. What do you
okay.
think?
I mean, he doesn't do because he doesn't do like
Flippy shit.
360s and moonsaults and
Tope
suicidas.
450 splashes. Come on.
Yeah. Come on.
I mean,
it's storytelling.
there's story in Roman's matches, even if
Right.
it takes a while. Like at the time, I didn't love Edge and Roman at what was the first pay-per-view that they had? Fans
30 WrestleMania 30. Oh yeah, WrestleMania 37.
Well, after that, the
Money in the Bank.
Money in the Bank. Like I didn't love that match, but like there was definitely story that was told, and I think that's the whole point of Roman's matches is that it takes time to tell those stories. You know what I mean? Like for instance, another example is like AJ Styles. We always say that Styles has like disappointing matches at Mania, and you know, for the most part, it's because it doesn't get the proper amount of time. If you watch his New Japan matches at Wrestle Kingdom, those matches get time to tell the story. Mm-hmm. If AJ Styles was getting Roman time, which I'm sure he will now that Triple H is in charge, like you're going to start seeing like, you know, how much time it really takes to tell that slow build story. He responds with, I knew you guys were going to go there, and no, it's not all about the flippy shit. He's just a boring wrestler, always has been. Well,
nah, I don't agree with because people say the same thing about Randy Orton. I don't think he's boring. He tells a story.
I don't think Randy's boring at all.
His promos are great, and his in-ring is great. Like, I mean, just because he, like you said, it's the fast-paced stuff because they're not running 55 miles an hour across and diving over the ropes and all that stuff. That's not storytelling.
But he also does that when it matters. Like, you know,
exactly.
when he does the high-flying stuff or whatever. But he's even
they
cut
say
down
Seth
on
Rollins is boring. He's not doing that, like, because he's a heel now, so he technically shouldn't be doing any like high-flying stuff. But would you call his matches boring because he's kind of like slow and methodical now? Or
he says Daniel Bryan doesn't do flippy shit. And
he
his
does dives.
He does dives.
He does. Yes, he does. He does a backflip on the top off the top ropes.
I would say why are his excellent because they're doing like drop toe holds and
label locks,
headlock takeovers, and
at the end of the day, to each their own. But I mean, I guess you can make the argument that a slower pace could be boring. Like I've watched matches that like a slow pace, like for instance. Here's a hot take for you.
Hot takes here. Get your hot takes here.
I
hate the first Hell in a Cell, 1997, Shawn and the Undertaker.
We're done. We're done.
Hate it. Hate it.
Out of here. Get the fuck out of here.
Because it's so slow. It
tells
like,
a story, dude.
But exactly. But that's what I mean. Is that?
Well,
I'm turning you off.
You know what?
I'm done with you.
Here's the thing. We'll go
permanent Becky glasses.
We'll go both ways with this because they who's I think it was maybe it was Mick Foley's podcast. They were talking about that Shawn and Taker match, and you got to remember that was the first time the Hell in a Cell was introduced. Mm-hmm. Now, so you're going from a I'm not going in favor of either one. I'm just giving you like some points that Mick Foley came out with. Like you're going from a cage, a traditional cage, right? That they had that was like a chain link fence, and then obviously they moved to the big blue cage as well. Now which is new, and they had to like kind of figure that out. Now they're moving into a different type of cage where there's a roof on it, so they didn't really know how to like navigate around. Like they're technically the pioneers of that. Because they have to like kind of figure out how to work that cage. It's like you can't go outside, you can't climb to the top. There's no like, it's not like there's not anything dramatic there. So everything has to stay in ring.
Yeah.
So I would say it's I mean for that first match, I would probably agree.
If you go back and watch the match,
not that
half of the match happens on the outside in one corner of the ring.
Exactly, because they didn't know how to use it. Like Mick Foley said, like they didn't know how to use the cage. Like when they bumped it up to obviously Mick Foley and Undertaker. Now you got Mick Foley, like the mind that he has. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna fucking fall off this thing. I'm gonna fall through it. I'm gonna do everything I can.
To be fair, I think from there, obviously, it improved in my eyes. Like the stuff with Kane, like the second half of the match, I loved, but like
yeah, the
first
beginning
half
of it,
the match, I was like, nah. I give it a B on Classic Match Classroom.
To say it was the worst Hell in a Cell of all time?
No, I never said it was the worst.
No, he said it was he said it was slow. He hated it because it was slow.
I just said I didn't like it.
Okay.
Yeah, take your glasses off.
Yeah, it wasn't that. He didn't say it was the worst. I don't think there's any really bad.
See, this proves my point. You two don't fucking listen to me. I
just
said
said
I didn't like the match.
I just
and
backed you.
Here we go. I'm done. I'm putting my Becky glasses on. Son of a bitch. Doesn't even.
I just
listen to
backed
what
you.
I
I just
Well,
came to
don't talk
your
about my mother
rescue
like
on that. I tried to cut you some slack.
She's a
Jeez.
saint.
Ridiculous. But yes, I understand to a certain point the hate on Roman of it being slow, but I guess it's just wrestling fans nowadays are accustomed to more like high action, not even flippy stuff, just like faster action. But it's always better when there's a little bit more of a slow pace to tell the story.
You gotta like you listen to any podcast, actually just listen to any one of Conrad's podcasts. He pretty much has like all the older guys on there. They'll tell you like they have no problem with the only problem they have with like the younger generation of wrestlers is they don't let things breathe.
Mm-hmm.
They don't let like you can do all the high spots and all that stuff and make it still riveting. You don't have to like go one after another, like bang, bang, bang. You don't have to do a suicida and then slide back in the ring and climb to the top rope and then do like you don't have to keep on. You could like have that one big move, let it simmer a little bit, let the crowd take it in, do whatever, and then go to that next big spot. So there's nothing wrong with that at all. It's just it should be spaced out. There should be a story. Like
there needs to be a story.
Yeah,
like for me,
it's wrestling. It's
I
wrestling.
watched the entire build up to Mysterio versus Eddie at Halloween Havoc 97. And to me, like that high flying, there was more of like a reason for every move to take place. It wasn't just like happening for the sake of doing it.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, like quote unquote flippy shit. It's entertaining to me. Like I don't mind it. It's just like sometimes I'll be watching and I'm like, what is this?
It has to be necessary. It has to like you said, go with what they're doing. If it's just doing it just to do it, what's the use? And they're gonna. I mean, I want to see these guys and gals continue their careers. I wouldn't want anything like bad to happen to them and shorten a career and stuff like that.
It's just a sweetheart.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
Nice job looking out for them guys, Mark. I'll let them know you said that.
I want to run them into the fucking ground.
Jesus, pal. Well, we're talking about high action, and high action is most associated with NXT, and I think it's time for a quick NXT report.
Down south slanging, rolling with these hustlers, trying to get rid of all you haters and you busters. Down south slanging, rolling with these hustlers, trying to get rid of all you haters and busters.
That was certainly a transition. I couldn't think of a way out of that one. But we have a quick NXT report on our hands. And it's not about the show, but it's more details on this NXT Europe that we've been talking about. And Marco, I'm going to let you take this one because apparently Triple H has a vision. He has a vision for the NXT Europe.
I am the game, JR.
He has an effing game plan for the game. So, Marco, go ahead and talk to us about NXT Europe.
Oh my God. So apparently his plan, which was kind of like the plan before. So when they had NXT UK, then NXT USA, if you want to call it, they're going to open up like a NXT Japan, NXT, so on and so forth. So apparently now with NXT Europe, what they're looking to do is kind of make it like almost like a World Cup type of deal. So like say they open up like NXT South America, NXT Australia, NXT whatever, so on and so forth. They'll then have a World Cup type of tournament with the best talents from those regions of the world, which I think is pretty cool. I'm not sure when and where this is going to happen. Obviously, this is still in the beginning stages, but I think that's a pretty awesome idea. You're gonna get to see a lot of different talents from around the world, not just like obviously handpick people, but we're gonna start to see like those talents that you actually don't see. And I think WWE and NXT is probably the best company to do it, mainly because they're worldwide. I mean, who doesn't watch? I mean, I shouldn't say who doesn't watch NXT because probably a lot of people don't.
I don't.
But obviously WWE is global, so like I think they can. I think it's possible. I mean, I'm interested in seeing kind of like a World Cup, like a WWE World Cup type of deal where it's just different representation from different parts of the world. I think it's pretty cool. I mean, to see those different styles clash and stuff like that. I'm not sure what type of wrestler like in South America, they might have a different type of wrestling style than someone, in the UK, like different type of strong style and stuff like that. So I'm intrigued.
I can't wait till we get more Juice Robinson on our screen.
No, God, no.
64 Juice. I want 64 Juice Robinson tournament.
J-Bone, do I have to hit the hot take button for you before you start
Sure,
talking?
I don't think it's much of a hot take, but yeah.
Hot takes here. Get your hot takes here.
This is boring as fuck to me. Okay.
Almost made Marco spit out his drink.
I'm sorry,
man.
Marco. I know
Oh,
you
man.
love this, but this like on a scale of 1 to 10, this interests me about a negative 1 million. Okay, like I have absolutely no interest in this. I'm sorry, mainly because it's wrestling. I don't like tournaments in wrestling, to be honest with you, and I just I don't like it. I don't like it.
Hot takes here. Get your hot takes here.
Wow.
What do you mean you don't like tournaments in wrestling?
I just don't like them.
You don't like the G1 or even if you want to go WWE
King of the Ring?
Cruiserweight
Okay,
Classic.
I do like King of the Ring, but
You don't like
But-
Cruiserweight Classic?
But
Or the
see,
Mae
here's
Young?
why. I like, okay, let me rephrase it. I don't like tournaments just for the sake of tournaments. Okay, meaning like we're trying to get to this trophy. If you don't weave a story, that's what's so good about the King of the Ring. You weave a story in there, like Bret Hart, for instance, right?
Mm.
He that's why that first King of the Ring was so good. And then the next year you flip it around with Owen. Just doing it just to grab a trophy. That's boring to me, to be honest with you. Cruiserweight Classic, it had some interesting moments. I mean, you had those just like crazy matches, but again, look what did they do? They did nothing. I don't know. Who did it make? Who did it make?
A cruiserweight division?
Yeah, where is it today?
I mean, good point. But it also did bring in a lot of different talent that weren't really
where are they
highly
at?
regarded.
Where are they at?
WWE put them above the talent that, they brought in like Kota Ibushi for that tournament. They
Yeah,
brought
Kota
in like
Ibushi
Zack
was fucking
Sabre
in there.
Jr.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they were able to make like talent like
But they
TJ
didn't keep 'em.
Perkins. Well, yes, but that also comes down to the fact that they just didn't care about that division at all.
Yeah.
Right.
They kind of merged. Now they.
I guess that's part of my concern. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
I just feel like there's not going to be any care to this. They're not going to really push this, and it's just going to fall the wayside. It's just going to be like, okay, we're just watching just two dudes wrestle for no reason here, just because they're trying to be the best in Europe. I don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I get that. I mean, I guess it's
Yeah, we'll have
hard
to
to really. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was gonna say we'll have to see how it's presented first.
Well,
and foremost. Like,
and
we
you know
don't
what? That is fair. That is fair. Just based off of like what I've heard.
Yeah.
It's just like
Doesn't sound super intriguing. I get it, but
Yeah.
I'm thinking he's trying to go where like he used the World Cup when he said it. So kind of like how all these different countries are backing their their respective teams. So I'm assuming that's what he's trying to go for, is like kind of like but for wrestling instead. Like you have like this one guy or a couple of guys or gals that your country gets behind in this worldwide tournament, essentially. So I mean, in a sense, like I said, it has to be presented. Like just speaking about it, it's just like like you said, because we're thinking wrestling, we're thinking like you said, storylines. Like there has to be some type of like Like, is this person related to? I don't know.
Look at that.
Look at that.
Yeah, I mean, like if they get like a NXT title opportunity or I don't, but yeah, but still you got to have stories. But the problem with that is you're introducing new people in there, so it's hard to like build a story while introducing these new people. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
So,
I think we can't really determine what to feel about the World Cup until not only we see it, but until we see what NXT Europe is going to be.
Yeah.
Like, we don't know if it's going to be multiple companies, if it's going to be one company, like if it's going to have its own set of titles. Like, I don't really know what it's going to be yet. So I'm down for a World Cup tournament, because the last time that they presented the World Cup tournament, Shane McMahon was crowned best in the world. So anything
God.
to kind of
I totally
make
forgot
up
about
for that, I'm fine with. And something like NXT Europe, I feel like this is the number one opportunity for you to do something like this. Like, you wouldn't really be able to do it like within WWE, because you don't have like the main roster, because you don't have that diverse of a roster, I would say, to do something like that. Whereas you split it up between each country, now you have a little bit more leeway to do each company or each country having their own bracket, and then they all fight for, let's say it's the NXT Europe title. I'm cool with it. I wonder if it's a World Cup, would they include like American NXT in that as well? Or is it I guess they wouldn't call it the World Cup, like they would call it something else, and that's just kind of the format. But like I said, we don't really know how it's going to play out yet. But I'm excited for it. I think it'll be a good idea. And it just goes to show you, like, where they're kind of heading with NXT, because even Shawn Michaels went on record to say, like, they're starting to look, well, not that they're starting to, but they're still looking at like independent wrestlers. I think Carl Fredericks is getting a like he's being brought in for a tryout in WWE, or he was spotted at the Performance Center. So, they definitely still are focusing in on that independent wrestling market. And that's where you're going to see NXT Europe flourish, is that you need those independent wrestling companies in your other markets. And it makes you think maybe we'll see some partnerships with some other indies and, across the world. So there's a million different ways that this can go. And I don't know, I'm pretty positive about it. I know J-Bone's not going to be positive about it, but you know what?
Well, I'm just not a fan of NXT Europe, to be honest with you. I already talked about this a little bit, because I feel like it's going to kill the independent scene in Europe.
No, that's fair.
I don't know, and I just feel like it's close to more world, trying to do world domination.
Yeah, that's what you have to. I mean, in order to.
Yeah, but it's I don't want it to go back that. We need the AEWs, we need the New Japans, we need the GCWs, in the world.
I mean, I mean, if it's a developmental, it doesn't really matter, because it's not going to be, it's not going to be bigger than.
Look at what they're trying to do. Let's be real. They're trying to scoop up talent, and it's just, I don't know.
Well, don't forget, I mentioned it. I actually just mentioned it just now. Like, we might see some partnerships with other indie companies. We've already seen some in the past, like WXW, Progress, ICW. We've seen kind of those partnerships with the WWE and those independent companies. So, if anything, this might be better for those indie wrestling companies that don't necessarily have that big platform that they can present their their talent on. It just goes as far as what are they going to do? Like, is it going to be kind of an AEW deal where they're able to wrestle in NXT Europe, but they could also wrestle in their other indies, or are they going to be exclusively for NXT Europe? I don't know. It's an interesting concept. I wonder how deep they're going to go with this. But I'm sure it'll be fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Need more rope shaking.
Needs more rope shaking.
Oh, we need more
That's Sunday.
1997 WWE rap rock.
Oh, like if you haven't checked out the flagship episode, go ahead and do that.
That dude was high as a kite last night.
You should have seen him on the wrap up.
I
He
did.
Big smile on his face.
I opened up the wrap up last night and saw how high it was. I go, dude, you look blaze as fuck. And turned it off. I was like, I know where this is gonna go. Poor Ace.
And a big smile. He's smiling the whole time.
Sod it. Sod it. Oh, Marco's frozen.
Oh boy. Messing up our stream is
I know,
Marco.
right?
Oh, there he's back.
Freeze. Oh man. All right, what we got next?
All right, what do we want to talk about next? I think it's time that we haven't hit this button in a minute. I think it's time that we welcome some people back.
Welcome back.
Hello!
Welcome! Where the hell have you been? I'm back!
Hello there.
I'm back.
I'm going back to the big show.
Just when I thought I was out, they put me back in.
Candace Larae has returned to the WWE. Welcome back, Candace. So Nikki ASH is in the ring, about to get a match. And who comes out but Candace Larae? I thought the music was for Dakota Kai. It just goes to show you the difference in all of these theme songs. But here comes Candace. She is wearing her Poison Pixie getup that she left NXT in. And she has a pretty solid match with Nikki Cross here.
It's good.
And gets the win. So, J-Bone, I'll send this one to you first because you've gone on record to talk about the disappointing returns and debuts of wrestlers. How does this fare on your debut scale, return scale?
Uh-oh.
Better than her husband's.
But this was the same type of scenario, though. Coming back from commercial break, randomly.
Well, but she was inserted in a match. Like,
Yeah.
hey, let's get it going here.
All right.
You know,
Okay.
all right.
Okay.
Let's get it. We got the juices moving here. You know, let's go. Just coming out here. Oh, I'm happy to be back, and my little boy is going to be proud of me. And
Oh my
I
God.
also like toys. I like those too. Yeah. Also, check out my really cool Venom gear.
Oh my god.
Like,
Oh my God. This is- all right. I'm starting to see a
Oh.
pattern here with J-Bone.
Mr. Austin Theory. Hey, remember we used to be friends? Can we be friends again? Remember that cool club we were in the way?
Oh my
Sounded like
God.
a fucking nerd out there. Get it.
So you had
man.
no problem with this. I had no problem with it either, but I haven't had any problems with it.
Well, and I mean, I guess part of it too. I mean, I expected it to happen, you know. So it was like, okay, cool. You know, I expected her to be there, you know. So once Johnny made his return, so I mean, unless she's either that or she's going to retire, one of the two, you know.
Yeah.
Marco, what about you? How did you feel about this?
Same. I was just like, oh, that's surprising. No, I wasn't like in shock, like, oh my God. But I was just like, oh, this is cool. I mean, it was obviously, like you said, you were expecting her back at some point. She looked great as well. I mean, she looked great in the ring. I kind of like the storyline of like Nikki ASH kind of with the frustration at the end of it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I mean, I'm assuming they're gonna hopefully like peel off that she has the mask off and everything. I'm assuming they're gonna go back.
Mask on, fucking mask on, mask on.
Hopefully they bring it back her old gimmick where she was like just crazy. So yeah, I could see the I could see that remnants of that was probably a Vince call making her a superhero or almost a superhero. So I can see Triple H bringing her back to her
1000%. But hey,
her old ways.
she bought into it, so good for her.
She had those funny too. I was her theme music before she became Nikki ASH with the screams was kind of risque. It wasn't really a PG era. If you listen to it,
Yeah. I love that's what you get from that whole presentation. Her theme song was a little risque.
A little risque.
Our theme song was based off of 50 Shades of Grey.
Yeah, no, pretty much. It was like sound bits from it, sound clips.
I would love Hawk listening to that song and what he would get from that.
It sounds like country music.
House of Black.
It sounds like house music.
What do you guys see as plans for Candice LeRae in the future? Do you see her being like an instrumental part of the division, or is she just going to be like another added piece to the puzzle?
I mean, I think she'll be a pretty good, piece in the mix kind of thing. But my question is, and I'm actually going to bring it up this week on my podcast, so spoiler, but a lot of they need some help over there at SmackDown. Now I get it, Johnny's on Raw, so you got to put her on Raw too. But
yep,
if this was probably not, this was probably the plan several months back. They brought a lot of women back, so why wouldn't they put some of those women on Raw, on SmackDown? They just keep throwing them on Raw. And I mean, this is obviously another point of reason why they need to be done with the brand split.
Yeah.
Across the board, not just on women's, just be done with it. I mean, you're 2/3 of the way, 2/3 of the way there with the unified men's title and tag titles. So, and women's titles actually, which they never, were split up, but I don't know. It's just weird to me, but I think they need some help over there at SmackDown. I mean, you could use a Candice LeRae over there. Can you put Johnny Gargano over there too? I don't know why they got him on Raw.
I feel like Johnny fits better on SmackDown, if anything.
I do too. Imagine those matches to me with Walter. God, yeah.
I mean, like Gunther, Roman, obviously,
whatever his
like
goddamn name is.
Yeah, I mean, you have a lot of stuff that you could do with Johnny. I guess keeping him on Raw, like the Ciampa connection, but like I would rather him be on SmackDown.
It's run its course. It's run its course, to be honest with you.
Yeah, really. I mean, we'll get it eventually. I know that we will. I mean, even if you wanted to move Ciampa over to SmackDown with him, you could do the Bloodline. I mean, or maybe that's a way that they could get Johnny over to SmackDown is by having them tag team, kind of switching Johnny from SmackDown to Raw. But in that case, just fucking end the brand split already. There's no reason having it. Well, I mean, I will say, like with the roster kind of growing again, we were at a point where we were looking at such a thin roster. We were like, why would you even have the brand split? But now with the amount of people that are being added to the main roster, you kind of have to have it now. Like there's a lot of talent that's being used, and you need to have that even split. So I could see why it's still around.
Yeah, and then obviously you had the returning Lacey Evans too. She came back.
Yes,
as well. So
forgot about that one.
Yeah, they kind of got that. Who did she face? Was it Liv? She faced Liv, right?
Yes.
They had that crazy table spot where she freaking just like cannonballed Lacey Evans through the table. That was pretty insane. But yeah, I mean, it looks like. I mean, SmackDown's starting to build it. You got to think too. It's a shorter show. They have it's only 2 hours, so they don't need technically the bodies over there as much. You think Roman and the Bloodline is going to take up a lot of that time on the show. Then you have the mid card area, which is basically Imperium and the Brawling Brutes or whatever the hell they're called, and then the women's division. That's pretty much the whole formula of SmackDown. Yeah. If you think about it, it's Bloodline, mid card, and then the ladies. So,
how would you guys restructure the women's division on SmackDown? What would you do to like make those changes?
Well, if you bring in Sasha back, I'd immediately put her back on SmackDown.
Marco shaking his head.
I don't think she's coming back though.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think you have to build around the fact that she's not coming back.
Yeah.
Her or Naomi.
I think it's done with Sasha at least. Maybe Naomi comes back, but
definitely. Yeah. Well, one of them come back.
Yeah.
Let's see. I got to think of the women's roster right now.
Who's
real
a champ?
quick.
Liv. Liv's you have to build
Liv's
around.
a champ.
You build around Liv. I mean, you could throw in like. I mean, I would turn Asuka heel. That's the first thing that I would do. Throw her on SmackDown.
She's already a heel.
Yeah, right. When she comes dancing out to Bianca's music, she's a heel in my book.
Yeah.
Turn Alexa heel. You can put her up against Liv. That could be a good matchup.
I would like to see Tegan return. Tegan Knox.
Knox could be good.
Bring her
I think
back.
there's definitely some stuff that you could still do. And obviously, there's people in NXT. You can
Put
call
Doudrop.
Rhea. Doudrop as well.
Yeah, I guess.
Rhea needs to do something instead of. I mean, obviously she's in the storyline with Judgment Day,
Rhea
but
and Liv have that history.
They can have her doing stuff, like have her just show up on SmackDown because Judgment Day does whatever they want. So,
yep,
she can show up and challenge Liv for the title. And,
that's a good point.
I don't know. My thing is they definitely need a mid. I think they should make a mid card women's title.
No,
I think so.
No.
I don't think so.
Not yet.
Get rid of the tags and make a.
Well, okay, if you're gonna do that, that's
well,
fine.
yeah. Get rid of the tag team, and then you're talking.
Yeah.
I don't know. We're gonna have to see what happens. But as far as Candice goes, I'm cool with Candice LeRae just coming back and being another kind of person in the mix of things. It makes you wonder if bringing in Candice LeRae, maybe that's a challenger for a potential Bayley championship run. Maybe her first challenger.
Yeah.
Extreme Rules is going to be an interesting event. I feel like there's a lot of things that could be changing around. Just looking at the card.
We've had 2 pay-per-views with no title changes.
Well, yeah. And I think Clash of the Castle technically isn't. I mean, obviously it's a show, but it's technically not one of their main shows. Where Extreme Rules is one of those shows. So
yeah, it's one of like their main stage.
Actually, I have a hot take.
All right, let's hear it.
Hot takes here. Get your hot takes here.
I hope one of the things Triple H changes is we're done with Extreme Rules.
Yeah.
I'm just
well.
I don't. Gimmick pay-per-views in general.
Well, gimmick pay-per-views, yes, but like Extreme Rules this year looks insane.
Yeah,
but see, that's for me. It's.
I don't have a problem if they do the gimmick pay-per-views if they do them right. Like if you start building up, let's say they did Hell in a Cell in like December, you would have to start building up your feuds like a few months in advance so that you can eventually get to Hell in a Cell, so that you can get that big, event, or a big match that's worth a Hell in a Cell. When you do an event like Extreme Rules, he did it correct in making every match have a big stipulation. You have Fight Pit, Extreme Rules, ladder match.
Yeah, I don't like it wherever it's, and I get it. It's got to go with the Extreme Rules theme. I just don't like where everything's got to have a stipulation.
Yeah, no, I get it. I like the change up, like how it's pretty rare to see like stipulation matches nowadays. So I'm cool with it just because it's like the one night of the year where everyone's extreme. Like that was always the branding for it. But I could do without it. And I think even after this, I've been hearing after this year, they're going to move on from it.
That's what I heard. And I guess that's probably what kind of triggered me a little bit.
Yeah.
I heard that and I was like, yeah, let's get rid of this shit. Bring it back In Your House.
Yeah. I think, I mean, In Your House is back. It's NXT, remember?
Well, no, bring it back to the main roster.
Oh,
yeah.
True. But
they brought over War Games. Might as well bring In Your House.
Yeah. War Games. I think next year, starting with Royal Rumble, I think you're going to see a lot of different changes in the premium live event structure. I almost said
you're the only person that says premium live events with such passion. Everyone else is pay-per-views.
Premium live events.
Premium live events.
I pay-per-view. That's what I do. I don't do no
I mean, I don't
I
pay
like
for
me
shit.
my pay-per-views. Nothing's gonna take that away from me.
I don't.
Fuck
You
these
know,
premium
fancy
live
word
events
like
are.
premium. What's that?
What is that? I can't even spell that.
I don't know what a
What's premium mean? Good?
Is that like gas?
I put that premium gas in my car.
Is that like gasoline?
No, these gas prices are high nowadays. Anyways,
I ain't paying for no damn premium. That's too high.
my country voice sounds like it's just the Braun Strowman voice. It's just, go get these hands on these gas prices.
Wash your hands. Remember that was a thing?
Oh my
During,
god!
Oh yeah,
They had the
you're
wash.
gonna wash these hands. Oh boy.
Vince has scarred me. I'm not gonna lie.
It's all trauma. We're dealing with trauma right now.
Still can't
All these
believe-
like weird things that pop up. Remember this? Remember this happened?
We'll have to go through grief counseling here in a little while.
We make movies.
Haven't got that one in a while.
we missed you guys.
No, I don't.
Well, look, Candace Larae wasn't the only return that we got on Monday because we also got another return.
I need someone to step up.
And that step up, y'all don't like Edge?
Hit the hot take. Hit the hot take. We're wrong.
Oh,
We're hot
boy,
take.
wait, let me get down to it. All right, here you go.
Hot takes here. Get your hot takes here.
Oh my God! It's Edge. He's made his return for his 432nd time. I heard the perfect analogy on the Ringer today. It was David Shoemaker. He was like, "What do you think is the least surprising now? Big Show flipping back and forth between heel and face, or Edge with a gigantic return?" I just was like, God, here we go. I mean, it's fine. Like you got to do it. I want this Edge Judgment Day shit to be done with. It's played out by now.
No, I do too. I don't like Edge's inclusion, especially because we're talking about someone who isn't going to be around as an active competitor for very long.
Yeah.
And you're wasting like his entire 2022 by just doing Judgment Day stuff. Like it was good at the beginning. It was fine. And then like you kick him out of the group. I understand why they did it. And they just kept
I don't
going
understand
with
why they
it.
did it.
Well, you'll never understand, but and they just kept going with it, and it's still going on. Like,
Yeah.
I don't understand why this is still happening. It just doesn't make sense. But we are getting an Extreme Rules match. And a match at Extreme Rules, an I Quit match. Finn Balor and Edge. I'm excited for the match. I think Finn and Edge is a match that a lot of people were kind of hoping was going to happen. So, I'm cool with that. It's just, God damn, we're still going on with the story. Like, it's ridiculous. And also, Edge had one of the greatest returns, both 2 times. 2 of the greatest returns in WWE history at both the 2010 and the 2020 Royal Rumbles. And then he just kept returning.
That's what I mean.
That's
That's exactly what I
the
mean.
return.
Like, I understand, like, yes, it's Edge coming back, it's shock value, but that takes away from the biggest moments. Like Edge coming back 2020 after not wrestling for 9 years. And then here he comes again. He
Oh,
returns.
shit, it's Edge.
He returned at the 2021
Oh, it's
Royal
Edge.
Rumble. He returns at on this Monday Night Raw. He returns here. He returns there. I'm so sick of these returns. It's
I'm right there with you.
Marco,
Is his
what do you
return who J-Bone, who's worse? Johnny Gargano's return or Edge's return?
Well, Johnny Gargano. But
Oh, come on.
He won't crack. He won't
Come
crack.
on.
1,000%.
It's Juice. I know 2 people, Juice Robinson and Johnny Gargano. He hates
Juice
so
Robinson Juice Robinson could go back to New Japan and never come back.
CJ, no, he could go to NXT with the CJ Parker.
Yeah, go
that's a good
be
idea.
go
Give him
be
that
Hawk,
hippie gimmick again.
go be Hawk's tag team partner. Hawk would love him. Hawk would love CJ Perry.
You know what's no, that's CJ Perry is Lana.
I mean,
That's
what's his name?
CJ
CJ what?
Parker.
CJ
You know what
Parker.
CJ Parker needs when he comes back to NXT? 1997 WWE Rap
1997
Rock.
WWE Rap Rock.
That should be his theme song.
It sounds like Linkin Park. I saw so it's a sidebar. I was telling my wife about it today, and she used to go to like Warped Tour and stuff like that back in the day. She goes, that pisses me off actually, because I was trying to tell her I was trying to explain to her who sang Orton's theme, and she was like, that doesn't make sense. I was like, yeah, exactly.
Marco, what are your thoughts on Edge's big return?
I'm not sure if it was a big return. It was. I mean, lackluster, I guess, if you want to use that word. I mean,
he's been away for 2 weeks.
Yeah,
this isn't even a return.
It's not. Yeah, it's not really a return. It's just like a re-entry.
Yeah.
More than anything, it's. Yeah, I just wish the focus was more with Dominic and his father than Edge being in the middle of it. Like, I think they need to focus on that storyline more. That should be the Judgment Day storyline, is Rey Mysterio and his son. That's Edge shouldn't be involved at all.
Mm-hmm.
To me, anyway. I think that's all that manpower and all the writers and stuff need to focus on Rey and Dom to get that going.
I do like how Dominic is slowly morphing into Eddie Guerrero, though.
That's what I'm hoping. That's what I'm hoping. Like, your father was never really a heel, essentially. So he
never
really
was a heel. Never.
Yeah, so you can't teach. Like, I mean, not that he couldn't teach Dom how to be a heel, but like, he was never a heel. So like, what better way to do that than to copy off of one of the best? Like, you
just know that like Triple H is in his ear, like, here's the thing, Dom. I think you should go and check out some tapes from Eddie Guerrero.
He lived through it. What do you have to check out anything? He was in a custody battle.
Here's the thing, Dom.
He lived through it. He's seen how evil Eddie Guerrero was in person. So like, that's perfect, man. If he does that, just like takes like all the little Eddie Guerrero nuances and that type of stuff, dude, I think he'll be.
I love how he's doing it with these chair shots, and he's just like, come on, right here.
Yeah, do that.
Yeah.
They actually spoke about that on the DDP Snake Pit. DDP was praising it. He was like, dude, he's like, I love it. He's like, the last person I see do that was Jake the Snake. I forget. He was get on his knees and go like with the good right here. He's like, no one does that. Yeah. He's like, just taking those cues. He's like, if you listen to them, they love everything. They love Judgment Day.
Judgment Day sucks.
One more for the good guy.
They love it. They love every aspect of it. They love Damian Priest. They love Rhea.
Did y'all see too the interview they did in the back whenever Dominic was like, "Hey Damian, I'm gonna go to some of your world famous parties because I got a new mommy."
That's great.
I feel like this is exactly what Dom needed, though. Like, everyone for like 2 years was saying he's got no character, this, that, and the other thing. He should go on the indies so that he could, learn a few things. But like, all he needed to do was just not be the most bland character ever.
Yeah,
not be his dad.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And people were like, "Oh, put him under a mask and stuff." No, like this is what
good.
he needed to do. And I'm happy that he's finally getting some type of character. And you can see it's working for him.
Let loose, Dom.
Yeah.
You're young. Get into some trouble.
Let loose.
Let loose.
Get into some trouble. Live a little.
Some trouble, Donnie.
Take a sip of the beer.
Get pegged by Rhea. It's not.
Man. Live it up, dude.
It's only going to hurt the first time.
Yeah, don't knock it unless you try it, dude.
Oh, shucky, ducky, quack, quack.
Oh my goodness. So any final thoughts on Edge? So J-Bone doesn't like Edge. But,
I love Edge. Edge
well, he doesn't like Edge's return. But
yawn.
I'm excited
Yeah.
for the match, though.
Yeah.
As long as they
It's
are
fun.
building towards dream matches, like we saw Edge and Damian Priest, good match. We're gonna see Edge and Finn Balor. It's gonna be a great match. So as long as we're getting that, I'm fine with it. But meh, another return.
Yeah.
But in that case, we have one more topic to really break down, and we've already talked about it. Like everything going on with the White Rabbit. We've had some other kind of little details being added into the mix of things, but it's relatively been the same thing. Get a QR code, you scan it, get a little video, brings you to the next show. We're getting the same things here, but now some more added details is, the last QR code took you to a TikTok that had another area code, and that had coordination.
It had coordination.
Coordinates.
It had both.
Yeah.
It
Oh, it
has-
had both.
It had a zip code and it had coordinates.
There you go. So it had coordinates to a place in Italy that had a big pink scary rabbit.
Yeah, I think it was creepy looking. That was
Very
creepy as hell.
And then it had an area code for, was it Corbin, Kentucky?
It
was the place?
Yeah, it was Corbin, Kentucky. But then there was like if you go on the search page, there's like a something with, it was like Wyndham. There was
Wyndham
a Wyndham
Inn. It was like a
Wyndham
hotel.
Inn, and then there was like a something with Wyatt as well.
Right.
So
right.
it's like there was a bunch of, like, if you just search that area code, like all those things, those search results, all those things popped up in the search results, but obviously all over the place. But it's making my head explode.
Yeah, this is where it's kind of getting like convoluted, like the Corbin, Kentucky, like, I think Sean Ross Sapp was the one that said, like, Corbin was his last opponent before turning into the Fiend. So that kind of maybe points you in the direction that's going to be more of Bray Wyatt than it will be the Fiend. You have, like, also, I don't know if you guys saw this on Twitter, but after SmackDown last week, when fans went back to their cars, they saw there were the coordinates again, but on a
flyers,
in their windshield.
Yep.
Like it was put on their windshield, like in the windshield wipers.
Yeah, it had like the rabbit and then the coordinates on the
for the next. It had it on every car.
Yeah, but it was for the next Raw.
Exactly.
Raw.
I love this. I mean,
I think it's cool. I like it.
This is good. This is really
it's different. I mean, how many times do we preach like, oh, do something different?
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's making my head explode in the sense where it's just like I just don't know what the hell like where to. It's like it's so hard to search. Like it's like there's so many different things, and good thing there's people out there that are actually like trying to piece all this together and stuff like that. But I'd be curious to see how accurate everyone is at that point when they actually do the reveal. But here's the other thing too, because we definitely have to talk about this. The 923 thing. So
yes,
I think I was one of those people that didn't think anything was happening at 9:23 p.m. Only because not everything happened. Not everyone's on East Coast time zone. 9:23 isn't 9:23 in California.
Yeah, true.
9:23 isn't 9:23 in the Midwest.
Well, in that case, why would they put the colon? They switched between. I think
they just did that just to do it, just to.
I took it was 9:23 like Eastern time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I mean, in that case, they would have showed Pacific then.
Yeah, they would have showed Pacific. They would have had because you can't go 9:23. Why would they only cater to the East?
Nah, I never thought of
that reveal.
No, but I mean that's what they normally do. Like it's the 9 o'clock hour, like in TV land. That's what they always go to.
That's a specific time. It didn't say 9:23 EST and then whatever. PT
I don't know. I just took it as 9:23 Eastern time. Honestly,
but they did it earlier in the night. Obviously, they didn't do it at 9:23.
Yeah.
But at that commercial, they did play the music again, the White Rabbit song, and they did the same exact thing.
That's what I like. I like how they're just kind of catering right now to the live audience.
Yeah.
Because I mean, where else are you going to see like where this is absolutely nothing, basically? You know, I mean, other than with the little clues and stuff, where people are pulling their phone out and doing the firefly thing. You know, turning their camera light on,
Yeah.
and it's just like it was an unbelievable. I thought it was an amazing scene to watch. It's like, dude, because I was there for WrestleMania 30, and you were there too, Marco, when they did when they came out to that thing.
Oh
It
my
was just,
god,
it was so
good.
badass. Doing it in the Superdome, and I don't know. It just it kind of brought me back to that a little bit, and I love this. This is just so creative. I don't, the detractors are saying, oh, there's not enough meat on the bone. Like, what do you want him to do? Like trot out Bray Wyatt, the second night? Like, oh, Bray's here, like, no, like this is perfect, right up Bray Wyatt alley, like Wyndham Rotunda alley right here. Like, play the little mind games. It's 100% Bray. I did have a thought. I did have a thought too, where White Rabbit could be Bo Dallas. I've heard of this,
Yeah, there was a rumor that.
And that White, but hold on, White Rabbit's Bo Dallas, but Bray Wyatt is Mad Hatter.
I can see that.
I thought about that today
because there were thought there before he got released. There were rumors of if he was staying, that Bo Dallas would be like they would play both. He would play like the Fiend, and that way Bray Wyatt could show up at the same time. Like they could both be in the same vicinity of each other.
Yeah,
but if you do that though, you can't just be like, oh, here's the White Rabbit, Bo Dallas.
No. I mean like
you got to do it with Bray on the other side.
I mean the Fiend's wearing a mask, and they're kind of like the same build.
Yeah,
it was just more of like a mind game thing. Like Bray could be in the ring, and then like. Someone they'd run out back or something, and then the feed would be there. Like that's what the thoughts were, but obviously that got shit canned essentially. So
the worst thing that they could do is like I've seen like, oh, what if they make the Firefly Funhouse with every member?
Yeah,
like,
no, we don't.
Carrying Cross as the White Rabbit, like rambling rabbit. Give me a break. I wouldn't mind the Bo Dallas thing. The only thing is, I feel like people are reading too much into the White Rabbit thing. I don't think it's necessarily as much of a kind of going down to Alice in Wonderland as it is like I just watched The Matrix and White Rabbit, follow the White Rabbit. I feel like White Rabbit is more of a symbolism for like the amount of detail that Bray is putting into all of these little vignettes, and it's kind of resulting in all of these conspiracies. So I feel like if anything, Bray is kind of using the White Rabbit in a way of showcasing. Maybe we are the White Rabbits, that we're kind of digging deep into these conspiracies. Getting all the Corbin, Kentucky, and there's a Wyatt Inn in Corbin, Kentucky, and this is the area code of this place, and So maybe I don't think there's going to be like a set rabbit, if you will.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah,
I think it's just going to be like
that's it.
Maybe Bray with a faction. Yeah, maybe Baron Corbin's involved in the faction. You never know. I mean, they wrote him off of TV. Albeit with JBL for some reason.
Yeah, I think.
I'll tell you what, because we're going to see Michael tonight. We're going right
maybe JBL's part of the White Rabbit faction.
Well, just to hop on like what you said with the Matrix, like the White Rabbit was used to just follow it, like follow the White Rabbit, so you get to this point, and then obviously. But I think in this case, the White Rabbit is the detractor. Like we're not seeing what the actual picture is yet because we're too focused, like you said, we're too focused on the White Rabbit. There's other stuff happening around us that we're probably not paying attention to. That's what that brings us to J-Bone. There's not enough meat on the bone. Well, maybe because there's not enough meat on the bone because we're just focused on this White Rabbit and we're not really looking around us and see what they're actually doing. It kind of reminds me of the the movie The Prestige. You
No,
ever see that
I
movie?
love that movie.
Are you
I
watching
love it.
closely? Like that type of thing. Like you think you see the magic trick, but do you really see it?
Mm.
It could
I
be a
like
lot
that.
more going on around. There might be other stuff happening on these shows that we're not even seeing.
Yeah.
Because we're looking for QR codes and we're looking for a white rabbit. We're not looking at other stuff that's going to be happening, which you've noticed things happen in the background of these shows, or there might be someone in the audience that we're not paying attention to. There might be some sign that we're not seeing, the obvious QR code.
Yeah.
But there might be something, there might be just a random fan holding something up with like a, not like the Bailey one. I'm not sure if you guys seen that, but did you guys see that, the house show recently?
Oh, yes, I did see.
No, not that type of sign.
I think
But,
this story has been a mix of a lot of things because let me just say, like, this is not just Bray. Like the QR codes and stuff, this is not like just from the mind of Bray. They've been doing QR codes for WWE for a while now.
Yeah.
Like
It's the
the
Zack
stuff
Ryder days.
yeah, right. The stuff with Edge, remember, those were all QR codes.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Was it Edge? It was
so,
someone.
yeah.
They were doing QR codes for someone. Oh, it was Edge. Yeah. Stuff with Edge, those little promos before he came back at SummerSlam. Was it? Wait, now I can't
No.
remember.
So I remember on NXT they were doing QR codes. Remember that?
NXT, they were doing QR codes.
And it was
I know
like
that.
you just click it, you do it, and it'd just be like some random numbers.
Yeah.
Shit. Did that
So-
even go anywhere? Was that part of
Yeah,
it?
that was fuck. Who
uh,
I think that was the Axiom gimmick. You know,
I think I faintly remember.
the guy
oh
with the
yeah,
mask.
yeah. That's right. Yeah,
I might be wrong, but I think that was it.
Maybe the White Rabbit is Zack Ryder.
I don't think so. But also, I also feel like this is kind of taking elements of, and I know this is such a weird like storyline to bring up, but the hacker gimmick.
Oh
when they were
shit!
doing
Yeah, I
that
remember
in
that.
yeah, that was kind of along the lines of what you said, Marco, of like, you know, there was stuff happening that you didn't even pick up on. You know, there was a lot of stuff that I feel like they've taken little bits and pieces from all different types of things that they've experimented, and they're all going to put it into this Bray Wyatt story, which I think is amazing. I think this is fantastic.
This is where it helps having like Hollywood writers, you know.
Yeah.
yeah. And you actually utilize them the right way.
Right.
They should get Freddie Prinze Jr. in to help out with this. Freddie Prinze Jr. would take this story and elevate it.
He's
She's
starting
all
his
that.
Yeah, he's supposed to start his own wrestling organization.
Fuck it. Throw that out. Help us out with the Bray story, Freddie. No, I think this is like no one else is doing this, and I don't understand why. This is simple.
Yeah.
Using social media to your advantage.
Yeah.
Using your house shows to your advantage. Why is no one else doing this?
Well,
there's really no any other promotion that's doing house shows. So.
Well,
that's
that
social
and-
media, yes.
but everyone's on social media. Everyone's got a Twitter account.
Well,
Shit.
even a storyline. So I think like, you know, with WWE, since they're the, you know, sports entertainment, and they, you know, they can use wrestling and stuff like that. I think like with companies like New Japan and AEW and like GCW, you could probably do it because they, you know, they have hardcore matches and stuff. But like, I think when you AEW, we'll use them for an example. You bill yourself as a pro wrestling company. You can't really do any of this stuff. Like obviously you have the House of Black, but even that, like, can you imagine the House of Black in the WWE? Like what that would be?
I mean, yeah.
With the writers that they have.
Yeah, for sure.
And now with Triple H
Yeah.
backing.
Yeah,
Like-
I mean, it would be nice if they would appear on TV, but you know.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. So like, yeah, I think you kind of like, you don't, not that they don't have, that was the other thing too, is they don't have writers. And that was like, that's like a knock on like AEW. Like, you know, everyone goes out there, does their own promos, whatever. That's fine and dandy. You have creative control over your character and stuff like that. But like now you like without writers, you kind of losing that intriguing part of the storylines. Like you still need some type of like some blueprint to like make these storylines like interesting. essentially. So I think they could help with like imagine if they just hired a few like Hollywood writers to like write for House of Black or something like that, or Darby and Sting. Like it would boost their
to
show
do
so
that
much.
for the House of Black, and I'm just with the way that AEW is set up right now. And I know I don't want to start just shitting on like how AEW does things, but like it's legit. Like the people love the way that they brought in Rampage because they thought, oh, this is perfect. You bring a few wrestlers in, you cycle them out. You don't have the same faces every week. And everyone thought that was a great thing to keep people fresh. It's not a good thing. It's a good thing to have maybe a face that you see every now and then for a few months, and then you take them away. Not every other week that you take them, you put them on a match, you take them away. You put them in a match, take them away. So with Rampage and Dynamite, if they wanted to go in the route and do something like, make a House of Black into a big story, they would need to be on either Rampage or Dynamite weekly.
Yeah.
That's the only way that they could do it. And they just don't do it for some strange reason. So I think it's not just the case of the Hollywood writers, and I don't think AEW should ever get maybe one.
I think they need writers. I think they not like team. Writers, not like a production team or anything like that, but you need a foundation. Like you just said it right there. You just said they need a week to week thing happening, and you just said it's not happening.
Mm-hmm.
So would you think they would benefit from like some type of like seasoned writer? It doesn't. I mean, it could be someone that writes for wrestling. It doesn't have to be a Hollywood writer. Anyone that has like anyone has a history in wrestling.
Yeah.
It could be someone from back in the day. Who knows? Anyone that's like a good writer that can like
fuck it. I'll do it.
A show
the J-Bone.
Like, yes, we have all these great matches every week, but like you said, where's the? They used to do interweaving storylines and stuff like that. Remember, like in the earlier, not this is the AEW podcast, but like remember in the beginning of AEW, they'd have all these different intersecting storylines. Like everyone had something going on, but now it seems like it's just there's a new person every week, and I know it kind of leads into J-Bone.
Too many people
with the Juice Robinson and Bandito and.
I didn't mind Bandito. Juice Robinson though.
Yeah, Bandito was cool.
Get that guy out of here. What the fuck is he doing? Get CJ.
Why do you? I only like him because I don't like him because he's with Tony Storm. That makes me angry that she would.
That's my cousin.
Go with that dude. Tony Storm.
Oh my god! But I don't know, getting back on the kind of the Bray topic here, I think we're gonna see a reveal at Extreme Rules. I think that's kind of where I'm putting towards, and it might not be an official reveal.
No, I don't.
I think it's gonna be a big reveal.
It's a step. It's a certain step.
Yeah.
But because
we're gonna get something at Extreme Rules. Like
it's
not just gonna be like a QR code anymore.
It's gonna It's gonna set something to where people have to go watch the pay-per-views now. Like,
exactly.
Oh, shit, we got to go watch this because this happened on the Extreme Rules.
Yeah.
And it's just like I said, road to WrestleMania. We'll get the reveal and Bray Wyatt.
That far out, you think?
Mania.
His first match will be in WrestleMania.
Oh, first match. That's right. Not like reveal. Like not reveal.
No.
Reveal before that.
Before that, yeah. Somewhere along the road to WrestleMania.
First match at Mania. That's a long time, bud.
What was the name of that magician wrestler, Phantasm or whatever? He's gonna be like, "Hey, Bunny Rabbit,
Chris Angel,
Bray Wyatt." That's how the reveal's gonna happen.
The Mind Freak, Chris Angel, will show up.
Yeah. What's up, Jack?
All right, let's start wrapping up this show. Let's actually we'll do a quick segment here. Let's each give our quick match of the week. Let's just go around, give our quick matches of the week. Marco, you want to start us off on this one?
Oh man. I'm gonna go with the ladies. I'm gonna go with SmackDown just because I mentioned it earlier. I'm gonna go with Liv and Lacey with that
all right.
crazy ass table spot at the end.
Yeah.
It was
Good
actually,
pick,
I
good
mean, yeah, I think, I mean, Liv's been kind of floundering a little bit with the women's championship, but I think this match was kind of like that match was like, I'm here, I'm the champion,
Right.
because she didn't have to do that crazy ass spot at the end, but it was just like, you know what? I think she needs to like show improve a little bit more, and I think that's what she did in that match. So I'm gonna go with that for my match of the week.
All right. J-Bone, what's your match of the week?
I'm gonna go with Ray and Rollins.
Yeah, that was
Ooh.
actually good too.
It's a good pick.
That was a good one.
Yeah, this is just fire. There's no eye for an eye on the
No
line.
missing eye, no eye popping out,
Yeah, right.
Oh my eye!
and he throws up.
my
Oh man,
God.
we might have to do a pandemic era recap with all the crazy stuff that they were doing.
I would love to do that. Some of it wasn't even that bad. I won't even lie. But some of it was.
We could do that. We could start the Raw after WrestleMania, and just pick the worst thing.
Oh man.
Oh my goodness. But that's a great pick for match of the week. I'm gonna go different. I'm gonna go SmackDown main event. Usos versus the Brawlin' Brutes.
Ooh, yeah, that was good.
It's a really great tag team match. I mean, I prefer the Fatal 4-Way tag match that they had the week before, but like this, you have the Usos, Butch, Ridge Holland, can't go wrong there. Yeah, it was just a really great match. It showcased the Brawling Brutes in a good light. Plus, we're getting the good old-fashioned Donnybrook match between Imperium and the Brawling Brutes, which is going to be insane. I cannot wait for that match.
Another 5-star from Uncle Dave.
Another 5-star.
Start handing them out.
What does Sheamus say? Banger after banger after banger after banger. Nonetheless, it is time to end off the week the only way we know how, and that is to answer the age-old question.
Who won the week?
All right, J-Bone, let me know who won the week.
We'll go SmackDown.
SmackDown. All right. I got that from you. Marco?
Yeah, I'm gonna go SmackDown. Just that opening segment, man. That was freaking. It was gold. And then, like you said, the main event. I mean, it was a really solid show.
Yeah.
SmackDown in general. I mean, I think Edge returning kind of that it lost points. Raw lost points for that.
Yeah.
For me anyway.
Clean sweep. SmackDown for me as well. And really, it's for that opening segment and the main event, of course. There's just a lot of good stuff on that show. So I have to give it to him.
What we didn't talk about, I mean, we could probably talk about next week, is this new kind of like, not new storyline, but this kind of like side storyline with AJ Styles and Finn Balor.
Oh, yeah.
Which is pretty intriguing.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll get some more meat on the bone for that for next week. They only just started it, so we'll give it a little time to marinate.
Yeah, that was great.
Well, wolf pack into yeah, there you go.
Oh, hell yeah.
But nonetheless, we've answered the question, which means we need to end off the show with a little bit of a
Hey, yo.
It's time to end the show. Folks, thank you for watching another edition of the RAWDOWN. Marco, what are you doing?
Oh man, we're doing everything over here.
Everything.
So new episode dropped this week for open mic. I interviewed a mayor. A mayor visited my show.
Glenn
Mayor
Jacobs?
Aaron. Yeah.
It's awesome.
Mayor Aaron from Lumberjillville.
Right.
Stopped by and yeah, it was a really good episode. If you haven't listened to it yet, definitely listen to it. We deep dive into how he runs things in Lumberjillville, like being a single dad and how he creates all this content. I mean, if you watch his videos, he has these like 4 or 5 minute opening segments where he has like a storyline going along and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, definitely listen to it. It's awesome, and obviously listen to all the other episodes. Catch up, start from the beginning and work your way to this. Only 4 episodes deep. It's not that Not that far, about an hour a piece. So we could do this. Another episode out this week. A new podcast, mini pod as we called it. So it's called Chicks Quickies. So we have Sheena, Chick Foley, and the Hill husband Seth. They review. It seems like there's going to be reviewing figures. So I think they did on Rival Series
On Match 5.
On Match 5, that's what it was. On Match 5. It's about a 20-minute listen. And they do some listener mail as well at the end. So yeah, definitely check that out. So Chick Foley Show just cranking out some content left and right. We're trying to keep up with Turnbuckle. It looks like. And I actually have an idea for another show for the Chick Foley feed. Wow. So it's in the inner workings.
I like to see it.
Yeah. But other than that, obviously join the Facebook group, chickfoleyshow.com. I mean, there's tons of stuff going on there. We have our Picks League going, which is always fun because I'm always in the middle or at the end of the Picks League.
Same.
There's one dude in there that like literally picks like the perfect card all the time.
David Brooks.
I think he's like a time traveler or something.
David Brooks, man.
I think he knows. He has an almanac for this year. He just picks everything. But yeah, cash prize at the end. I just use the word cash. It's not really cash, but there's a prize at the end of the year. So definitely sign up. There's a lot of fun stuff happening with the Chick Foley Show.
J-Bone, what are you doing?
Well, it's episode 98 of Coming Down the Aisle.
Wow.
We're approaching the big 100.
Giving you the Scott Hall figures.
Yeah, 98 straight weeks too. Never. I even put an episode out the week of my honeymoon. Okay, that's how committed.
Damn.
Of course, it was pre-recorded. I didn't do it. I didn't do it for the honeymoon because then that would have been a divorce right there. But a lot more than that. But yeah, 98 straight weeks, no breaks. So we're approaching 100.
Damn.
I got a special guest lined up coming up. But this week, I got also a special guest too. The Card Queen, Kimberly Reed Cook. Check her out. She is very knowledgeable on wrestling cards. So we talk, wrestling cards, but she's also a huge Roman Reigns fan. Oh. And we watch, like I mentioned earlier, the start of the Roman Empire, the tribal chief empire, should I say. Bray Wyatt versus Braun Strowman versus Roman Reigns and Payback 2020. Yeah, 2020. I had to think about it for a second. This decade is just everything's smushed into one. Like, I know it's only been 2 years long, but it feels like it's like, yep, where everything's right here. I have to think about stuff all the time. I don't know, maybe it's just because I'm getting older. And also this weekend, we'll be dropping a new list, Miles and I.
List.
Ooh.
Top 10 1997 matches. Not
nice.
not WWE Rap Rock.
WWE.
WWE.
Oh, man. A lot of great stuff. I'm excited for that list. And on my end, of course, you can catch me at Indie Epicenter on Instagram and Twitter, where you can find The Answer ASC for Invictus Pro Wrestling, the independent epicenter. We dropped an episode last week talking about Magnitude, the 2-year anniversary of Invictus Pro Wrestling. A few skits that you'll be seeing me in soon enough. Getting a little heelish, if I must say, but just my natural personality coming out, if you will. But Invictus has a few great things happening soon. October 16th, we have United We Fight 2, which will be a collaboration show with Test of Strength Wrestling. Some marquee matches happening there. MCM will defend his social media championship against Big Trouble Ben Bishop, and a triple threat tag team title match featuring Fight or Die, the Faceless Ones, and Milk Chocolate. So that'll be a fantastic match. And just announced the Unconquered Cup, a tournament for the first ever Invictus Grand Champion. That is technically their world champion. 8 men in the tournament. It's going to be an epic tournament. I cannot wait for that show. If you're in the New Jersey area, actually, it's going to be our Bronx debut, the first time that we're in New York. So if you're in the New York Bronx area, check us out on the Cup. I forget the date; it slips my mind. But
Goddamn, pal.
follow us on Instagram to find out. But nevertheless, that's all I got. Just make sure you follow me everywhere. Until then, ladies and gentlemen, just a few quick plugs before we get out of here. Of course, follow theturnbuckletavern.com for all of the ways that you can support us. Of course, on Twitter, Instagram, listen to our pods, watch our videos, do all the things that you need to do to help us out. It goes a long way, including buying our merch at prowrestlingtees.com/tavern, where you can get a Hollywood Tony shirt, a Boney Khan shirt, MVP Marco shirt, all the shirts that you need and more on the way. And finally, well, not finally, there's one more thing, but Teespring, you can get at the Turnbuckle Tavern some RAWDOWN merch, stickers, mugs. We're due for another RAWDOWN shirt. We got to figure out another design to throw up on a shirt. I think our last one was the Mr. Backlash shirt, so we got to figure something out for us.
I just raw downed everywhere.
Sure, that works for me. And finally, call the tavern. 304-404-2004 is the number to call to hear your message played on the flagship show. Call the tavern and leave us a voicemail. That's 304-404-2004.
Where's Bill Twats been, man?
I know. I don't know where he's been. He's gone MIA.
He's like Batman. He just like shows up out of nowhere.
Yeah, he just shows up every now and then. Folks, it's been a great episode of the RAWDOWN, but we must bid you farewell. Until next week, take care, spike your hair, woo, woo, woo. You know it. Where's the outro? Where's the outro?
Where's the outro? I can't
Here's
keep
the
doing
outro.
this.
Where's the
I'm looking
outro?
like an idiot.
Hit the outro.
Take care. Take care.